All right, good morning. I think I have audio, I have video. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the coffee run. Let's turn actually the other light off there. How y'all doing? So far I've had a weird and not great day. I had a nightmare up there in the garage this morning. I tried to do the vertical like dual stream, like what you can do on YouTube now, by the way. And I think you're seeing people do. I'll explain this to you. Jeff's done it a couple times. Alfredo's been doing it. In the YouTube Shorts, which is the ones that show like the vertical video you kind of stroll through, that like TikTok-y kind of things. They're always like these little short 15-second videos that are hard for us to make interesting. But now you can do a live stream to the Shorts feed. So somebody scrolling their Shorts can watch. If we happen to be going live, they'll catch us, right? And it's really cool. I tried to do that today from the garage, but I had too many things. I had like whatever, my camera, my audio, and streaming through two systems, it just didn't work. I lost the camera in the middle of it, so sorry for the weird show this morning. But we did okay. We made money on that show. Just not a great start. But yeah, there's some funny comments out here in chat, and I want to address a couple things before I even start today. I think you guys are talking about annoying things about John, like the finger snap. I do the finger snap thing a lot. I don't know where I started that, but I throw the dice and I kind of snap to get my result. Like when I'm, and I'm in the zone, I snap when the dice crack, kind of thing, right? I've always done that. I don't know why, where I picked it up, but yeah, it's Jen always makes fun of me for that too. And Arcady says, I can't say I've ever heard John refer to himself as fat. I always call myself that. So now I've lost a ton of weight, and we joke about this here in the house, but I've lost, how much have I lost? 26 pounds. I think I was like 198 or almost 200 there, just over the winter, just like around October or so. I went on Ozempic for the diabetes, which is great stuff. That stuff lowered my sugar big time, but it also jacked like 25 pounds off me. Like it literally, I'm at like 170 now, which I think is too skinny. Like I'm not used to being skinny, right? And it's like I'm used to being more thick, I guess, right? So I call myself fatso still, but I'm no longer overweight, I guess, right? I'm at the right weight according to my doctor, but God, I don't like being. I feel like I'm just so damn skinny. Anyway, that's what happened there. I do want to talk about what Cajun Craps brought up, where he said he asked me in the show this morning. We'll talk about this when I get to the review of the daily paycheck, but I want to make sure I cover your question about the recovery plan. So we'll definitely get into the recovery plan here once I get to that part of the show. Okay, I won't blow that question off. I was going to talk about it in the garage, but I got so just jacked up with what was going on out there that I just skipped on it. So whatever, man. It was super big bummer. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into today's actual show. And there's so much going on. Look at the announcement list today. There's so many things happening. Jeff broke the internet last night. Jeff went on a 69 roller last night. And I want to talk about that here. Once I go through the other stuff in the list, I want to talk about that because it was really interesting the way that thing shaked out. This Thursday's trip around the table is going to feature Skill and Luck. Dylan from Skill and Luck is going to be able to, he talked to his boss. He's able to get off of work in time to do our show. So we're going to talk to Dylan from Skill and Luck. Now, I'm not changing the format of the show, but it's not going to be 6 random alien questions like it has been. I'm going to try. I'll get a couple of those in there, of course, because I have to. But I really want that show to be about the person. So if you've got questions specifically for Skill and Luck, for Dylan, I'm going to ask him a couple of really specific questions about him, get to know him better. He's from Missouri. We did a show about Missouri craps a long time ago. Him and Chiro were on at the same time, actually. Great show. We can talk about that a little bit. We can talk about driving trucks. He's a truck driver for a living. I want to dig into that a little bit. It's like, to me, I've always been fascinated by that line of work. So I think I'll ask him some questions about that. So if you have questions for Dylan, he's also a craps thinker guy, right? And again, I don't want to talk about craps, but I do want to talk about the way his brain works and why is he such a chess player, like with this game. So I want to ask him that. Today, all day, I think after I'm done, I want to say it probably starts at 10 o'clock Pacific time. I think it starts when Casino Quest opens at 10 o'clock, or maybe it's 11. Color Up is celebrating 100,000 subscribers. He's going to get the YouTube silver, like whatever you call it, trophy thing. Jeremy has been awesome. He's been a good friend of mine. I've known him now. He was probably at 25,000 when I first met him. I was at 400 when I first met him. I'll never forget him taking me under his wing in the early days there and helping me through it. He got me started on how to do all this stuff. He's a great, great guy. 100,000 subs for Jeremy today. He's going to live stream all day from Casino Quest. It's all day party down there. They're going to have a lot of fun. So I'm going to jump on that show with him at about 1 o'clock Pacific time. Just, talk to him a little bit. But yeah, he's such an awesome dude. And so congratulations to him. Also today dropped Ed Robinson's Casino Tears podcast. I'm loving that show. It's a good half hour to 40 minutes. It's him and another guy. They're just kind of shooting the breeze a little bit. It's not really instructional, which, again, there's enough craps instruction out there. It's more storytelling, which I love storytelling. And it's, you play with this guy and how did he do? And, it's fun to hear table stories. I think it's fun. And again, there's more coming on the shooters tournament, the players tournament, and the Yo-a-thon. All those things I'm working on kind of over here behind the scenes. But let's wind it back to the first point. Jeff breaking the internet last night. Now, Jeff had on his show a 69 roller, which is a pretty amazing feat. You don't see that very often, if ever. I think on YouTube, the longest rolls I've seen on YouTube, I think George had a 73 one time. Jeff had this 69. I don't know. I think I might have had a 50 once. Jeff had a 50-something random rolling once. That's about as big a roll as I've ever seen, in person or online. That's a huge-ass roll. But I want to talk about this because remember we did that series of shows where I broke down the 51 roller from Big AZ, right? And I said, boy, this is a 51 roller, but it wasn't that great. And then I broke down my own 56 roller that I had at the casino. I'm like, it was good, but it wasn't like, it was good, but it wasn't amazing. Ed's roll last night falls into that weird category of like, it was a great roll, but it was weird the way it was constructed. And I want to show you this. I'm going to actually open this up and we're going to go switch screens here. I zoomed in. This is a screenshot that Duracell took of the final roll distribution from that roll. Okay. One shooter, 69 rolls, SRR 35, which is, of course, it's a crazy roll. But look at the distribution here. This is what's weird about this roll, right? And you always ask yourself, if I was on the table, I'd have made so much money. Well, here's where the money is on this one here. And I want you all to be honest with me here. Do it in craps, right? George was 87. Is that what it was, Jen? 87. I thought it was 73. 87. Holy crap. I didn't see that one. Yeah, I think you told me about that. Good Lord, 87 rolls. It's crazy. That's insanity. That's absolute insanity. And George's roll was 83, Kevin says, with no sevens until the last roll. That's even more fantastic. What a crazy, wow. Anyway, on Jeff's roll here, here's where the money is. You can see where the money is. It's on the 6 and it's on the 4. Everything else was actually kind of below average, right? The 9, there's 9 9s and 69 rolls, right? 72 rolls, you expect to see 8 9s. He was 1 9 above what you expect. The 8s, way below. The 10s, you expect to see 6 10s in 30 and 72 rolls. He had 5, less 10s than he should have, right? The 11 is absolutely freaking off the charts, right? 12 11s, go Chiro, go. Only the 1 midnight, only the right number of, well, I guess more 2s than he probably should have had. He should have had 2 2s in 72 rolls. But it's the 4s and the 6s here that really jump off the page to you. And of course the 11. If you're doing like the Philly special, my way of playing, right? The 9, I would have made good money on. I would have had 4 9 flips in that roll. I would not have been on the 11. I don't bet the horn really, right? The 6, I would have crushed. The 6 would have been a table max for sure. That one there, I'm a press collect guy on the 6. That would have been great. The 4 at 12 would have flipped once for sure, right? The first 4 rolls is a flip of the 4, which gets it to, the $350 bet if you flip it correctly. Right, the 5th one, 350 for me pays 700, right? And what I would do there, my table max is 500. I go to 500 on that. I take the 700 back with me plus the 3, $1,000 off the table, and I sit there and I'm collecting from that point on 7 4s at $500 on the 4. So it's $7,000 on the 4s alone at my table max at $500. That's as far as I can go. But be honest with yourselves. How many of you at a real table are on the 4? And this is the thing. I know Waylon for sure is, right? A lot of people bet the inside only, right? And maybe spread out to the 4 and 10, but most people are on the inside. right? Might grab the 4 and 10 later on. A lot of people don't get there with the 4. Yeah, I would have had the 4 and the 6 both at max on my local $500 table, no problem. But most people, I think, live on the inside and might have missed the first 4 or 5 of those 4s before they got to it. And that's a real thing, right? Last night's max was 5K. You could have really pressed it last night with Jeff's thing. I'm saying my local, right? Most people don't bet across. Most people give me crap for saying bet across. I bet across all the time. Most people don't want to do that. Did you miss the 4? On a real table, would you have missed the 4? Would you have missed the first 4 or 5 of those things, which is unfortunate if you would have. You still could have flipped it and made a bunch of money. But I want you to look at like a great roll like this. The way these things break down is always fascinating to me. Like there wasn't a lot of 8s, right? There was just the right amount of most other things. The 4, 6, and 11 just went bonkers last night. And if you're not on the 4, you may not have made any money. Now the 6 you should have made a ton on, right? 16 6s, right? But anyway, I think it's interesting. When I see these things shake out, I'm always like, hey, where's the distribution? That thing is such a weird outlier, you know, and I hope that you made money on his table last night. Somebody made 50K, I think, or 80. I think Kevin spent the 80K or something like that. It just, like I said, rolls like this never come around, especially when a number like the 4 and the 6 go so bonkers like that, right? It's just unreal. But again, I know a lot of people only bet the insides that would have missed on that. I oftentimes miss the 4 and 10 because I'm on the inside, working the inside so hard. And I'm like, damn it, I should be on that thing. You know, and I've missed rolls like this because I'm not on it. So definitely an interesting roll. Jeff was awesome last night. Jeff, I love me some Jeff, by the way. Jeff was sweating like a pig. He was like, you know, I'm so tired. And, you know, he was so funny last night. It's a lot of work to roll 70 rolls, right? I can tell you this. When I was doing my 5,000 roll gathering sessions, 100 rolls a night, if I roll 100, I was tired. You know, like physically, like you're just drained from the whole thing. So good job on Jeff's show. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, way fun. The chat was on fire. It was fan-freaking-tastic. It was so damn cool, right? It was so damn cool. All right, let's get to the drawdown. A little bit of review of this. So now we are 2-0 on the drawdown. We're up $1,100, which means if I go down in flames for $1,200 one day, we got it covered. We'll start over. For this strategy to work, and we're going to talk today about win goals and loss limits a little bit. For this strategy to work, it's got to go 4-1 every week. There's no way to make money with this thing unless it goes 4-1. I'm okay with losing once. You're going to lose, right? If it goes 4-1, in other words, it goes 16-4 over the course of the 20 days we're going to run it. I expect it to lose 4 times, right? 16% of 20 days is about 4 losses. You expect 4 whacks, okay? 4 whacks at $1,200, $4,800. That's cool. It's going to be what it's going to be. But 16 wins at 500 is $8,000, which means we should be up about 3,500 to 4,000 by the end of the month if we maintain the 4-to-1 ratio. You're going to lose it once, got to win 4 times. So far, we're 2-0. If we can keep it at 4-to-1, at 16-4, we're going to be okay with this one. It's definitely a bun tightener. Now, it was asked of me in chat this morning, the recovery plan. Yesterday, I talked with you here about the recovery plan. What do we do to recover? If we get the whack, the $1,200 whack. Question 1 is, do we go back out and try and recover? Probably not. We probably just say, take our lumps and go home. If we get one hit, which brings $900 to the rack, and then we get whacked, you're down $300 for that round. You got to go back out again. Do you go back out at 640 and build it back, or do you go back out at full bore and try the whole thing again? That's the secondary question. What Cajun Craps asked was, do you have to play the strategy itself to do the recovery? That was the question. Do you have to recover with the strategy? My answer to that question is yes, because I'm testing the strategy out. And what you want to find out with the strategy is, yeah, it's going to get whacked. Everything gets whacked at some point. Can it recover on its own? Like, is the thing strong enough to say, well, it got poked. Can we work it back with itself? And I want to know that, because if you can't recover from a loss with it, then there's no point in playing it, right? There's no point in calling it a solid strategy. You can't say it's home run or nothing. If I don't get the home run, I'm going to try something totally different. It's like, no, I'm swinging for the fence. I'm going to get hitters 1 through 9 in my lineup are all Babe Ruth. We're either going to win the game 50-0, or we're going to lose it 1-0. Like, that's what you're doing here. And I want to see, does the strategy have the strength to fight itself back even from small levels? That's why I'm doing it that way. So yes, I will be recovering it with itself just to see if it is definitely recoverable or not. So we're going to talk about this a little bit moving forward here, Buckeye. And the question is basically, if you win, I could win and then go back out again at 640 and do it again. I could win and say my bank account, my bankroll is now not 3,000, but it's 4,000, which means I could go back out again instead of at 1,200 at 1,800. Take my new bigger rack and go right back out with a huge ass bet and compound the win size and keep playing it at a compounded level. If you're not playing paycheck, that's what you would do. If you're playing for the long home run kind of like let's hit a streak kind of thing, 100% that's how you do that. We're looking to get out of Dodge. We're looking to rack $500 and get the hell out of the casino. I can't do that. But yes, today was a good day to exemplify that. Like, yeah, let's take the $500 win. Now I got 3,600 in the rack. Let's go 1,800. And I rolled 19 more shots after that, 19 more box hits after that. So yeah, 1,900 ends up winning you 800. Now you're at 4,700. You go back up there at 2,200 across, and you start or 32 across, 3,200 across, and start increasing the bet sizes, and you start jacking up those wins to where you're going out there with more money than you started with, and you're also still racking your profit up. That's a way to compound it. We'll talk about that when we get into Gambling 401 series, where it's more about what I call winning ways, which is like how to approach a winning streak. I say this all the time. You got to understand variance. How do you win in the variant? That's what you're talking about. And that's what Waylon and I talk about all the time. So let's see. What about playing recovery out of the gate as opposed to playing normally? You could do that, right? The recovery system is slow. And here's the thing. If I go out there at 640 with this one, which is the low level, 640, if you get the two moves, right, will net you about $200. So to get to the paycheck, $500, I've got to do the 640 drawdown 3 times, 200, 200, and the final one for $600. It's a hard move to make to get the drawdown to work even one time. I don't want to rely on it 3 times just to make a paycheck. I'm trying to get out of there once, reduce my time. I'll take the bigger swing and reduce my time, then try and fight it 3 times in a day. If I have to fight it because I went down, different story. But I don't want to go out there and make myself have to do this really hard thing, which is 3 box hits 3 times just to make my paycheck. That's what worries me about it. So we'll see. We'll see how the recovery plan goes. We haven't had a recovery yet. So hopefully one day this week I have a day where I have to recover and I can demonstrate it. So, okay, let's get to today's topic. And here's the overall, by the way. We're up 11,700 now. The drawdown so far so good. It's not touching the red cross. If the drawdown can match the red cross at a win rate, if it can go 16-4, 17-4, it'll probably match the profit of the red cross, which would be kind of fun to watch. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's get to how to be a better gambler. And again, our core, I gotta say it every day, the core principles, right? Goals, the North Star. Today, we're all about the goals. Today, we're gonna talk about win goals and loss limits and what it means for you. Mentally and physically in the rack. We're going to talk about your strategy. The whole Daily Paycheck Show is about strategies that account for the way that you win. Okay, it's all about, does the strategy hold up over the test of time? Is it playable every day? Is it worth bringing that and that amount of money to the casino every day? The bankroll that you bring accounts for your losses, right? We talk about recovery plans. What am I willing to give up in chasing that win? Today's going to be about the goals, right? And we're going to talk both about the bankroll that you're putting at risk and how much you're looking to win from that. And your mindset is the connection point between all that stuff. And again, mindset comes into win goals and loss limits. You're going to find today that what I say, 3rd grade math will fight your brain. Your 55, 60-year-old brains will fight you when doing basic math. And it's a struggle, the struggle within, okay? And again, it's all about discipline in the end. So let's get to it. Let's really talk about, and I mean seriously talk about, win goals and loss limits. And there's so many thoughts on this, and very strong thoughts, right? People will be chatting today during the live stream about you got to be 50 whatever percent, you got to be X percent, or there's some line in the sand that folks want to draw. I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter what line in the sand you draw. If it's a 10% win goal and a 20% loss limit, if it's a 10% win goal and a 100% loss limit, it doesn't matter. It matters, obviously, financially, but it's got to be the thing that you want to do with it's your money. You're going to put the statement together that says, how much money am I willing to risk? Okay. When you set goals for yourself, be they win goals or loss limit, and a loss limit is a goal. My goal is to lose no more than X, whatever that is. Okay. The goals are, I think, expressed in a couple ways. One, financial, dollars, cents, percentages. I'm willing to risk $1,000. I'm willing to risk 20% of $1,000 to win 10% of $1,000. You can say it however you want to, but it's a financial goal. Okay. The other goal that you might have is a fuzzier goal, time value, right? My goal today is to last 2 hours because we're going to be there with a bunch of people. My goal today is to have a great time. We're at a bachelor party or my son's 21st and I don't care if I win, right? My goal today is to just enjoy the day, right? Your bankroll has something to say about that. The strategy that you choose has something to say about that. Your goals don't always have to be super hardline fixed. They can be fuzzy and it's okay to do that, but there's always a financial component to it. And I think, like I say all the time, stating your goal out the outset, stating it out loud, writing it down if you have to, is important. I think it helps you stick to them. And there's power in saying the words out loud or writing them down on your phone. There's a power to that, to seeing it in print. It's also where you can set yourself up for harm, right? Remember, the improper goal setting can set you up for failure, okay? And what I mean by that is having your goals kind of out of whack can be a problem for you. So reminder to you of our goal statement. I'll give you a couple examples here. The goal statement will be in this whatever session trip. I'm going to risk some amount of money to win some amount of money by playing whatever so that, okay? Here's a couple of examples, right? In this session, I'm going to risk $500 to win 100 by playing the double dozens on roulette so I can build my 401g account. That might be a solid goal statement, right? Somebody else might say in the session, I'm willing to risk 1,000 to win 250 by playing Baccarat so I can fly to Vegas, so I can buy a plane ticket, right? Your goal session might be in the session, I'm willing to risk 5,000 to win 50K by playing the triple Lux so I can felt the table. I don't even care. I'm going to burn the whole 5K. I'm looking to destroy the casino today. That's your goal. That's your goal. You put it out here on paper. When you make it real, it becomes real. And you're like, that's what I'm doing today. And you can get your brain wrapped around that. It's all good with me. But having a goal statement kind of at the ready for you, I think is an important piece to being able to stick to it. And I think that you breathe life into your goal when you put it in paper. Now, here's the emotional piece of this, okay? It's all the same, okay? If I'm going to have a 30% loss limit from the $1,500, I'm going to buy it for $1,500. I'm taking the 30% loss limit. That's what I'm doing in my daily paycheck. My garage session right now for daily paycheck is $3,000 buy-in. I'm willing to lose $1,000. 30% loss limit, okay? Here, if I buy in for $1,000 and I've got a 50% loss limit. If I buy in for $750, I say, you know what? I'm willing to risk most of it, 75%. So I walk away with something, right? Or if I say I'm buying in for $500 and I'm willing to burn it all, right? What is the difference? There is zero difference. All of those result in a $500 loss for you. Every one of those, right? 30% of $1,500, third, right? 50% of $1,000, 75% of $750, 100% of $500. It's all $500. It doesn't matter. Okay. The third grade math is this. Those percentage maths always result in the same thing. You lose $500. And your goal statement from the previous screens are saying, I'm willing to lose $500 to win X, right? Again, you made it real by putting a number to it. These are all what I'm going to call, I hate to say the word, it's BS. You're playing mind games. And what I say here at the end is this. Your brain makes those a thing. Okay. Your brain may not allow you to buy in for $500 and walk away with nothing. Your brain may be okay with you buying in for $750 and walking with $250. So you say, like I said, at least I got something. Your brain might be okay with you saying, I'm buying for $1,000, walking with half. They didn't get me today. I'll take that half and I'll go play something else with it. Okay. It's no different than having $500 in your pocket and $500 in the rail at the craps table and burning the whole $500. There's no difference. Okay. But again, your brain is what makes the difference, right? You got to remember there's math and there's emotions. And I think for me personally, I always say I'm a stop loss zero guy. It's not because I'm a degenerate. It's because I look at that last one as being the one. My brain looks at my rail getting more and more empty, and I make different or proper or whatever more disciplined betting decisions as I see my rack go to zero. To me, buying in for a little bit and letting it burn, that's the emotional cue to me to make sure that I'm being more diligent with my bets. For some people, buying in for $1,000 and losing only half, they have this safety net feeling of seeing the $500 still in the rack, and they're like, okay. I think some people might look at that system and go, I buy in for $1,000, I lose 500. Well, I got a safety net, I'm going to keep on playing. Like, to me, that's a danger for some folks, right? To have the money in the rack. To me, if the rack goes to zero, it's good. The end money is the same in all these ways. It's about how your brain and your heart looks at the rack and your pocket and does the emotional math behind the real math. Ultimately, those statements are all the same. We got to make sure that we're embracing that. I say this all the time. Stop loss zero does not mean that you're a maniac. It's no different than buying in for big and only losing a little bit. It's how your brain wants to walk away from that table. I like to say I'm at zero and I work it. Some people need to have a takeaway. And that's, again, I'm not going to judge anybody for how you do this, but know that math always works out. Okay. How do you do it though? Like, what is the, and again, what is the right levels of this stuff? And I think to get it right, you really got to think about a couple of things here. I think these are the most important pieces. The strategy win rate. How often does your strategy win? If I can get that Dallas drawdown that I'm playing to win 4 out of 5 times, get that 80% win rate, right? What does it look like, right? What does it look like if I go 50% stop loss, 50% win goal, right? How would that work out if I actually played it that way? And I'm going to tweak the numbers until I'm satisfied with it. The win rate you find a couple of ways. One, you play it. You get on your practice table like I do in the garage or back here. You play it every day, and you log your wins and losses. If you have the tool, if you got $15 laying around in a Windows computer, go buy WinCraps. Write the script. I will even help you write scripts. Put it in WinCraps. Let it run over 1,000,000 rolls. Let it run over real rolls. It will tell you this strategy wins 66.2% of the time. This one wins 81% of the time. Okay, with different win, and again, you can take WinCraft and say, give me this strategy with a 10% win goal, 20% stop loss, with a 15% win goal and a 22% stop loss, and you can kind of tweak them all and see what the right ratios are. Okay, get WinCrafts and run your strategies through it and tweak it. If you want to get a high level look, I made you a new tool. I always do this for you. I make you new tools all the time. Let me show you what I did at Casino Gaming TV. Let me go. Let me open up this here and switch the screen for you. Okay, here's Casino Gaming TV. In the tool section, there's a new tool over here called the Win-Loss Estimator. Now, I have a lot of tools here for you. I'm going to zoom into this a little bit. The Win-Loss Estimator is exactly what you think it would be. Okay, we can put anything into here. Okay, let's do it. Let's put a buy-in of, I'll do my daily paycheck, $3,000. And I'm looking to win, let's say 15% of that, 450. We can actually say, let's say 20%. Let's make it $600. Okay. I'm willing to lose 1,200, right? Or I think that is 40%. Okay. I'm willing to lose 40%. I'm willing to lose one, so that one time for me, right? The $1,200 whack, I'll lose that, right? If we win at an 80% win rate, and we're going to play 20 sessions in a month. Okay. If this is what's going to happen to us, if we're going to average a $600 win and 4 $1,200 losses over the course of 20 sessions, we're going to lose $3,600, right? We're going to lose that much. We're going to win 9,600. We're going to walk out with $6,000. If this works out to be the case, okay? If our win rate though is only 65%, we go down in flames. So that we start losing money. So you get to find out, okay, if this is a 75% strategy, we can expect to win 3K. If I change my win goal to 10% and my loss limit to 50%, now we start losing money again, right? If you go 50% win goal, 50% loss limit, look at how much money you can expect to win. It goes way up. But look at the win goal. Now I've got to do that drawdown potentially 3 times. Right? I got to do the full $1,200 drawdown 3 times to make $1,500. Again, your bankroll determines your strategy play to make this a reality. So the win rate on that's not going to be 75%. If I have to do it 3 times, that win rate is probably going to be more like 65%, maybe 60%. We're still winning money, but it's going to go down in flames. Instead of winning or losing 4 times out of 20, we're going to lose 8 times out of 20 now because the win rate goes down. You see what happens here? So this little estimator will give you kind of a what if scenario on your financials. Now, what I would have you do is say, okay, I can live with this. This is cool, right? $3,000, win 50, lose 50, 60% of the time, we're going to make 6K. Awesome. That's great. Let's go to win craps and let's tweak our strategies. Come back to you again. Let's get into win craps. Let's get into win craps and tweak our strategy to get to that 65 or 70% win rate and really see if it works. If that estimator works, are those levels right? Can my strategy actually achieve this on the regular? That I think is the important thing. You got to do some testing with it and seeing where is the touch points, right? Yeah, 50-50 looks great if you can win 50%. Winning 50% of your bankroll is freaking hard. I got news for you. And I think, another part of this that we don't really talk about enough is the win goal being stretched out into a per session or into a per series thing too, right? And I was talking about this a little bit yesterday where if your session goal, $3,000 to win 600, right? Every series that you play doesn't have to result in the full win. Now I'm doing that in the paycheck. I'm using my first series at $1,200 to win the whole thing. You could literally, like somebody said in chat earlier today, take $3,000, go out there with 600 and make that 600 win 30%. Cool. That happened once. Make 600 win 30% again. Make 600 win 30% again. Now the whole bankroll is up 30%, right? By winning 600 in total. You can do it that way too. You can take a small series and win and win that same percent on the small series and do that multiple times, and all those wins stack up. You can approach your win goals holistically or in small chunks. And I said this to you in the day that we talked about working a series. When I go to the craps table, for example, and I've got 5 series of $100 when I buy them for 500, the $100 series, it's got a job to do. That job is to win 20 or $30. And if I can make each $100 win 20 or $30, by the end of it, I've got my goal. Okay. Versus saying, well, that first $100 has got to win me 250. Otherwise I'm screwed. And then, okay, I didn't do it. The next $100 has to do the whole bit of work too. You're putting too much pressure on your subsequent series. Treating each one as its own thing is the way I think to get it done. And that's, again, 3 years of experience. That's how I've approached it. I've taken each series, given the series a goal. If it hits the goal, the series is over with. If it has excess, we keep playing. Today was a good example. My first series won my session goal plus $60. I played with the $60. Let that series have some extra juice to it, but the series itself was over after the win. I think it's an important thing. And I think really understanding what proper win goal management looks like. And again, estimating it out and testing it out. You can't test these things enough. So again, if you're going to be serious about it, that's, I guess the closing statement there is that if you're going to be serious about it, that's what it has to be. All right. So I hope that kind of covers the idea of win goals and loss limits. And I'm going to repeat this one here for you again. It doesn't matter ultimately, right, what the percentages are. This is for you, not for me. If your loss limit is $500 and you buy in for 500, you're at 100% loss limit. You got to be okay with walking away with nothing and letting that nothing drive what you're doing. If that's not good for you, buy in for $1,000 and say, I'm going to lose the 500, walk with half, or I'm going to make that $1,000 win me 500. That's all good. Run your own math, run your own emotions. And there it is, guys. Okay. That's all I got to say about win goals and loss limits today. Just be smart about it. Set them, breathe life into your goals by making the statements, how you want to play, stick to that statement, and know the basic math. Okay, get your estimators working, get your win craft working. All right, let's go to questions. And what time is it? 8:40. Cool, good timing actually. What questions do we have? Let me go check the PCs up here. Let's see, PC. All right, I did answer that question. Let's see. Arcady says you snap, but when you have a bad throw. Okay, for me, it's like it's the release, right? When I do my release, I'm always doing this, and when I come back, I snap. It's like, and it's just how it's just my rhythm. Anyway, it's stupid. It's probably a superstitious thing, but I halfway do it now because I know it makes people angry. Buckeye often missed the first 4 attempt, but not more than that. I have missed 2 or 3. I'm on the inside. I'm like, a lot of times I want my inside bets to pay for the outside bets, right? So I'm waiting for a 6 or 8 to hit, press it, take the pressed hit and grab the 4 and 10. Well, sometimes that never freaking comes, right? And I've watched 4s and 10s go by and go, damn it, and I've since changed, right? In the last year and a half or so, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch that go anymore. They happen too often. And when they happen, the 4s and 10s happen like it happened on Jeff's show. Today, I rolled 4 or 6 4s today on my show, right? It happens in series or in groups like that. So I'm not going to miss it anymore. And I think a lot of people probably do, and it's fine. But just know that when you see a 69 roll, I would have made 10 grand. Well, would you? Make sure you're actually on the numbers that are hitting there. Let's see what is happening here. Let's see any other things. Jen, you're so funny, but you're so true. I'm going to go back. I'm going to put your comment. I'm going to stamp this comment in, if you don't mind, for that other screen, because I think when I record this video out, I want to put your comment up here. So yeah, Jen says it's not just your brain, it's your spouse telling you go back, I lost it all, right? But you didn't lose it all, right? I understand. It definitely there's a comfort zone in having chips in the rack, but if you brought 1,000 with you and you left 5 in your pocket and you bought in for 5 and you left with 0, you still have the 5. You know what I mean? Like, effectively, you're in the same spot. There's an emotional connection to that thing, but that's a great point anyway. I bring that up because I think it's actually pretty salient point there. Louis, nice chat. Thanks, man. I hope that I'm going to do more of these things too. I got a lot more of these apps cooked up. Don't forget out there, there's also the comp calculator, which will tell you what your comps are worth. You put in what your play is. It'll tell you what your comp values are, what your ADT is. You can know what to expect. You can use that kind of as a way to check that you're getting comped correctly. It's kind of a cool thing. How many series per day? It depends on what you're doing, right? If you're on a cruise ship, that might be 1 long ass series. It might be 5 short series. It really, the way that you control your bankroll, Jen, I think for everybody, this same point holds true. You've got to look at your trip and say, well, if I'm bringing, let's just use a round number. If I'm bringing $10,000 to a cruise ship for a 7-day trip, I'm looking at that and going $700 a day, right? I've got to last. I got to make sure that if it goes all cattywampus on me, it's $700. And I try so hard. You play with me. I try so hard. The first table I buy into with the 7, and I usually buy in for $750. I buy in for $750. My goal is to never not have that same $750. Like I buy in for $750. I play for a little bit. I get some profit out of that. Go to the cage, check it back in. I put $750 right back on my wallet. The next time I go to the table, I take that same $750 out. I try and work that $750 for every single session if I can. If I lose $100, okay, I got to pull $100 out of my next $750 to make it right. But I try and keep one series going the entire freaking time if I can. Session series, right? At a table, again, longevity is the thing. It's hard to do a series play if you're doing rolling bets. And what I mean by that is this. and we'll use craps as an example, but roulette could work the same way. If I'm doing a crap strategy where it's 64 across, let's say, right? My series size is $65. Let's just say it's $70. 64 across in the hard ways, right? $70. I could have $700. I could have 10 series of that. Each of those, the job of that $64 literally is to win $30. If you think about it in those terms, if I can make that $64 across, win $30, I can consider that series done and complete. That $64 does not have to win the 1,000. But that series has to carve up in such a way that it'll last you your time at the table. If you're playing a 3-point Molly, where it's come bet odds, come bet odds, come bet odds, it hits, you're out again, you're kind of rolling bets all the time, it's hard to have a series budget because you're always dipping into your rack. That's a different style of play. Roulette can fall into that too. Roulette can be like, kind of this rolling series of bigger bets all over the place that don't necessarily correspond to like a set dollar amount. You got to be careful with the series betting. If your strategy you're playing is a series kind of strategy. Again, for me, it's like a shoe in roulette or a shoe in Bach or a shoe in blackjack. My series is the 2 stacks. And I'm trying to make 2 stacks look like 3 stacks if I can do it. Or 2 stacks look like 0 stack. That's kind of the way I work that. Let's see. Gary says, if I found a strategy that had a winning percent of 80%, how long before my small local? You know what? Probably, I don't know. I mean, I bring them a lot of business. You know what I mean? When I go up there, it's always a bunch of people. We have a nice local group that we play with. I don't think they would ever tell me to go away. Our little Indian casino doesn't care about me. I mean, honestly, the most I'm going to win there is $500, right? I mean, if I'm doing what I did today, it's a $500 max table. Like, you can't pull that much money off of it unless you have these amazing runs. The 80% win rate is like today. Like, go out 1,200, win 500, 4 out of 5 times. They don't care about the $500. They really don't. You know, and if I was winning 10 grand every day, they would probably tell me not to play anymore. But I don't think they would care about what we're doing. The small wins that I go for. $500 a day, they don't care. Especially if I'm talking about them. You know. Let's see. All right. I think that's all the questions I see. Any other just random questions out there? Let's see. I don't see anything else. I think I've covered all the topics. The chat is loaded today. We've got 40 people still here watching me talk, which is cool. Give me a favor. Just give me in chat. Just give me a little like meter. Like, did you like today's chat or not? Like, was today? And what I want to know, I haven't really talked to you about this. I got like 10 minutes here, like at 5 minutes. Have these financial talks we've been doing about win goals, loss limits, bankroll management, have they been valuable? Have they been valuable to you? Like, I'm having fun talking about this stuff, but I realize I'm not at my table rolling dice and having a good time with you, right? Are these talks valuable? I just yes or no me in chat if you like what we're doing. That's what I want to know, because I'm enjoying it, but I want to make sure you're getting value out of it and it's sparking conversation. I know there's a lot of conversation. People got strong feelings about their win goals and stuff, but part of what my job is to facilitate this stuff, right? Part of my job here is to make sure that not only putting some knowledge out there, which I hope I do, but to get y'all talking about it and getting the community kind of fired up to like have a good, hopefully you had a great debate in chat today about your personal win goals and loss limits. And if that's what's going on, that's awesome. Jen wants to know about craps for the cure. You wanted the date? Oh yeah, the date is, I'm gonna lock it in. It's October 19th, that weekend. Okay. Where is not settled yet. I'm still working on a casino to be our permanent home and the deal that we're going to get with the casino. I'm working through that. So I can't tell you where, but I can tell you when. It'll be October 19th, either at Casino Quest or at a casino in Vegas. That's for sure. Book it. Get the weekend going. I'll let you know where ASAP. We're a lot goes on behind the scenes here trying to get these things locked in. Our ask of the casino is big. We're asking for a full table from their casino to be out of action so we can have it for 24 hours. Now, we're going to play live money on it, but we need a private table with cameras on the casino floor for 24 hours. I need access to the pit. I need access to dealers. I need access to food. I need rooms. I need all the things. So a casino that's going to do this is going to step way up for us. So we're negotiating. We're making that happen. But it's definitely going to be that day. That is the weekend for sure. Let's see. All right, I guess that's it. Duracell says no, but I support you anyway. Thank you, buddy. I love you too. Like I said, it's not for everybody. These conversations are not for everybody. And I you're probably saying that half tongue in cheek and half for real. That's cool, right? It's all good to me. I want to make sure that I have these videos out there. I will cut out the lecture part of it and I'll repost it later on so that a new gambler can stumble across these videos someday and have just that piece that we talked about today, just that 12 minutes of hopefully gold that they can then talk with their internals or with their friends about it. That's the reason why I do these things. It's really for posterity's sake. I really want to have those things sitting out there. So let's see. I don't know if there's anything else to really ask for. No other comments that are directed at me directly. So I'm going to go ahead and call the show here. That's it. That's it. We'll call the show here. God bless all you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the good conversation in chat. I really appreciate it. And with all that said, I'm out. You'll have a great Tuesday, and I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have another good paycheck run. And tomorrow we're going to talk about rack and rail management. We're going to talk about managing your money in the rack, one of my favorite topics, and how to do that at other games too. So have a great rest of your day. Love y'all. Bye.